I'm in the learning process. Maybe I'll not be able to impress you, but I'll try my best. Something I can means right now, I'll talk about a little bit artificial intelligence. Some people think, what is this? Artificial intelligence is nothing but say another evolution of computer science. Like think about when I started my journey, when I was in the college. I still remember in the college, I had to do the final project. We used to bring 10, 15 different books and we used to typewrite, highlight the lines, and one guy used to sit in front of the typewriter. I used to read him and he used to type. And I have to type those documents not in 100, maybe close to 1,000 pages. I have to gather together, I have to attach my drawings, I have to picturize, and that kind of way we develop the project to give it to my professor so that he can give it the degree that you are certified engineer kind of things. Now, maybe my daughter, my son can print that 1,000 pages within 10 minutes. So thing is that where we were standing before, typing in front of the typewriter, now just you need a copy, paste, print, and your project is ready. So these things came at the cost of innovations, at the cost of what is called timing and knowledge people put today into this computer system. Now after 20, 30 years, this computer system has evolved in such a way that artificial intelligence has come into picture. You just do the command, either voice command, or you can give command through your brain signal, or you can give command through your fingerprint, and it will execute. People suddenly, whoa, what's going on? I just imagine something it executed. This is nothing to afraid. This is another form of communications. Thing is that at the end of the day, you think there's somebody that's called God. In our religion, we believe God has to day of judgment, death and birth, like giving life and taking life. Some of the things you can't control. Like people say, artificial intelligence will take over the whole world. I saw a Google report somewhere. Within 2030, we'll lose 10 million jobs. No. This is kind of hyper. So media attentions to subsidize these innovations. I don't know how to say, maybe political, maybe social. But the thing is that this thing has come out of the box. People has getting the benefit of these things. We are getting self-driverless car, flying car. You're flying out of the sky, explore the whole world. So the thing is that everything under your control. You're slowly approaching the best of civilizations. But some people has doing the reverse engineering. Like when you're moving faster, oh, this guy is driving 80 miles per hour. How to pull him back? So some people have started the reverse technology to slow down that process. But my message here is that nothing to afraid about. These things, the computer science, artificial intelligence, robotics came out of you, and you have that power to control too. People think, well, somebody made the atom bomb to destroy the whole world. Do you think, no, human doesn't have that power to destroy the whole world. Human doesn't have the power to destroy the whole universe. Only one person can, that is God. So you have to keep faith on you keep faith on your invention, and keep faith on Almighty God. So things that my intent is that we are learning something, somebody will come in and try to, hey, why are you learning? This is don't go robotic technology. Don't learn artificial intelligence. Your son, your kid, your grandchildren will hundreds of jobs. Assembly line will be gone, robots will take over. So what? Their job is doing some supplements. It will get another job. Actually, one pipe is coming, if you close the pipe, another pipe will run away. Like when the river flows from the mountains. Do you think it doesn't reach its destination? It reaches. It's going a circular way. Nobody can stop the flow of water from mountain to the oceans. Same thing, human creations, human technology, human life go its own way. Nothing to afraid about. better to embrace that, encourage ourselves and do some more innovations. That will help us to grow ourselves, that will help us to grow the human society and entire human race.
A few months ago, I was in a gathering at a party where there were teenagers and children, and a friend of mine had asked them a question, a simple question that every parent wants to ask the children. What would you want to be after you graduate? And a couple of the children talked about how, hey, I'd like to be an inventor. Not something you hear every day, because there's children asking for different things. And another child said, I'd like to be a scientist. These are all beautiful things. I wish my kids were thinking around that too. They still kind of maybe a few years to go in terms of what they want to do. And so my friend said, inventor, really? I mean, all the stuff's already been discovered, the major things. Hey, cell phone's already out. It's been out for so long, and it works beautifully. Why would you want something else? Many technologies have been discovered. If you look at the last 50, 60 years or so, there's been significant amount of discoveries with leaps and bounds into various things that mankind has developed. Obviously, starting with the space program, getting somebody into the moon. I mean, fantastic achievement for mankind. All the way down to today, which is your devices, your supercomputers, things like Watson and so forth. But the friend's kind of putting down the children saying, well, you know, it's already done. What are you going to do that's new? Obviously, the kid didn't really have much of an answer because they're still kind of thinking in their head, but it's a creative process for us, for our children to go through when they think about what they want to do next. As far as I'm concerned, when I heard that remark, I was like, I really wanted to tell my friend, listen, I love you, but what you're saying, wrong, my friend. That's not how we want to talk in front of the kids, or that's not what we want to convey to them. The way I looked at it is, regardless of what you pick, and I'll talk about a couple of different topics that's close to my heart, where we think that there's still a significant amount of progress to be done. As an example, so I work in a pharmaceutical industry, and therefore things like drug discovery is something that I'm familiar with. If you look at drug discovery in general, why does it take about 6 to 7 or maybe more years in order for a drug to be coming out to the market? Why can't we shorten that time frame? Why does the clinical trial, which is a process of getting and trying out different things, different drugs, discovering drugs, why does it take so much time? If you look at the various drugs that are given to people, there are things that are happening. There's diseases called autoimmune diseases that require certain types of drugs that then get into adverse events and so on. Why can't we come up with something better? There are drugs, in fact, waiting to be discovered. If I asked you, and I firmly believe this, that do you think there is actually a cure for every disease? What would you say? Right? A lot of people in this room would probably agree with me. There's probably a cure for every disease. It's just that we haven't had a chance to perhaps go above and beyond what we're doing today in terms of drug discovery to actually, in fact, come up with that particular cure. So that's still waiting to be discovered. If you look at no visual aids, but I'll pick up my cell phone again because that's still a visual aid. This is not the only thing that's going to happen with regards to what we're doing. Obviously, it's a device that allows you to swipe in your hand movements that are directly on the device. But what if there's actually a way for us to do it through gestures, which is actually, in fact, something that's coming up. You could be in a car and you're talking to Alexa in a car, or perhaps gesturing for the GPS device to move to the next location that I need to go, or telling directions through just a hand gesture. These are things that happen in movies today, but there's really a scope for that. We just have to look at the right place. We have to figure out what we can do, and then our children have the capacity to be able to do things like that. When you talk about, our friend talked about artificial intelligence earlier. Well, we have barely scratched the surface. Yes, we've done significant amount of things, and it's probably not going to be a situation where we're going to lose 20 to 30 million jobs. I don't know if that's going to happen, and I'm with you there. But at the same time, there's significant amount of things waiting to be done with artificial intelligence. We got this thing called, anybody here of Watson, IBM Watson here? Yeah, so a lot of people have heard about it. So that is learning on a daily basis. And there's more power to be done to Watson, more inventions to be done in order to make it bigger and better. And that's all that's going to happen in the future, right? And if you look at I was traveling about a couple of weeks ago. As I was on the flight, I'm thinking to myself, it takes about 16 and a half hours, which is the minimum duration for me to go from United States to India. I'm like, oh my God, this is so exhausting. Come on. Why can't we just come up with something where it's going to take me fewer hours? And in fact, we have. If you look at things like supersonic jets, right? It's not quite the speed of light. Speed of light is probably about 700,000 million or so miles per hour. But you've got a speed of jets that go at a speed of sound, Mach 1. The highest we've come across in terms of a supersonic jet is more like 3.5 Machs, right? Which is if I had actually a flight that I can sit in, a passenger flight that goes in a supersonic speed, it's probably going to take me about 3 hours to go from the United States to India. And that would be fantastic. It's almost as a daily commute. I'm like, hey, let's go attend a meeting, right? Well, you're going to have to go through security, which takes you a few hours, but you know what I mean. It's significant amount of things that I can reduce in terms of time efforts so that I'm able to do something more productive with the rest of the time I have. Instead of getting stuck in a plane that I was, on an economy flight between two people, because I booked this in the last minute and I got stuck in the middle. I'm like, oh, I forgot to even take a book with me. What am I supposed to do? And I didn't really want to go through all the crazy movies that they had because that didn't really add to my taste that I had. So things like that, where you can think about, well, if I can go in 3 hours, imagine how much time am I saving. So in a nutshell, in my opinion, there is significant amount of discoveries that are still out there, inventions that are waiting just for our children, our generation, or our future generations to look at it. Thank you.